All you hoes, you and your mammy and your granny too. I'm sick of this shit. All you hoes don't give a damn what you wanna do.
They like the chaos.
They like the chaos. So when you're able to
chaos,
let that chaos reign with,
chaos,
let that chaos reign with,
chaos,
let that chaos reign with,
must reign.
Yes. Welcome, guys. Welcome to another edition, another video, another live stream here on the Chaos Reign Show. I am Chaos Reign. You see the picture, you see the thumbnail. Need I say more? Need I say more? Now, it's been a while since I did something on the lady they call Pearly Things, but look like she has a very interesting conversation with the one Mr. Wilson. And as you know, the debacle or what has been circling throughout the media between him, his wife, and whatever affairs he has, it's not really looking good, personally. But this conversation has to be looked at very closely. Now, depending how far I go into this, very lengthy, I'll try to do the best I can. It's been a while, but we're going to listen to these two conversations and see really if it matches the title that is described in today's stream. And can marriage really be saved in America? And which marriage are you trying to save should be the biggest question. No further ado, let's begin. Very use. Enjoy.
I wanted to start with this. Do you agree with me that promiscuity in women is generally bad?
Sure.
You don't think that that's a good thing?
I don't really want to go down that rabbit hole because good and bad doesn't matter. I'm in the business of predicting.
Okay.
So
well,
if I had to predict where it's going to go, women are going to keep getting promiscuous.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
So your predictive model, I agree. I'm not going to get into like morals or ethics with you. That's not what I mean by good or bad, like moral or immoral. Right. But like, is it bad for women generally to be promiscuous? Like, does it lower their value structure?
You could say that, yeah, but I don't really always see promiscuous women have bad outcomes in real life, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, the thing is like, because if it is the case that you think that men are going to check out of society, they're going to check out and become promiscuous because marriage is a raw deal, right? Then you're actually assigning.
Some men don't care enough to even like some men are just going to check out. They're not even going to try to get sex.
Yeah. I agree. I agree with that. So, but wouldn't you be assigning these promiscuous women value then? Wouldn't they actually be a valuable asset to society if it is the case that if men can't get married and can just play the field and have sex with tons of women, wouldn't they actually be very valuable to men then?
Why would they be valuable to men?
Well, because obviously men want to fuck them, right? And if they're
And as we pause, make sure you guys like the stream. Promiscuous women is a gold mine for modern men today. Here's why. Because the more promiscuous you are, bitch, the more a man's going to really want to you. And that is just the bottom line. We love reckless, casual sex. Unfortunately, is it in majority of males' nature? Somewhat we could say we could agree. But most men, as they move up on in life, get a little older, maybe come to more post clarity, they want more things in life than just busting juices. So, promiscuous, to some degree, is a haven for a lot of modern Western men. Don't you forget that, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep going. Aries, let's enjoy.
Well, men need sex, right?
Yeah,
that is a need for a guy.
So then these women would be valuable, right?
Well, I think if they were valuable, they'd marry them, wouldn't they?
Well, so yeah,
Like,
this is a fundamental question, though. If you're not going to marry,
that's the whole point.
If you're not going to marry them and you're just going to have sex with them, then the value's in the sex itself.
Yeah. I mean, men do want to have sex. Yeah.
Yeah. So then that would be what would make women valuable, is that they were essentially that they were hoes, essentially, would make them valuable.
I mean, they bring more value than the wives that are married and they don't sleep with their husbands.
You think hoes bring more value than wives?
Than ones that don't sleep with their husbands, which is really common.
Yeah, well, I went through and pulled a bunch of the stats, right? So, especially when it comes to sexless marriages, that usually happens years into the marriage, over a decade, in fact, before that starts.
After the youngest kid goes to preschool.
Yeah, that's often the case. And often those are only for limited amounts of time, right? Though not always, right? But it's actually a more isolated case. When I look at this is from Petrelli Privatira LLC. They made a study on this. We were talking about Christian marriage. Because you're asking, what's the incentive for men to get married? Well, from a secular standpoint, I think I agree with you that secularist men probably shouldn't. It looks like it doesn't
we're in a secular society, Andrew.
Not yet. We're getting there, but we're not there yet.
You don't think it's pretty secular now?
Not yet.
Like what percent of people even attend church weekly?
Well, that's true, but 70% of the populace does consider themselves to be, at least self-identifies as Christian.
But don't you need actions to match that?
Yeah, you do. But interestingly enough, there must be, because it's only 20-25% of Christian marriages which end in divorce at all.
I mean, that's, again, what you guys say, right?
I mean, that's what the stats show.
Okay.
Yeah, 20 to 25%.
But Gen Z, you don't know what Gen Z is going to be. And that's the whole point.
Wouldn't they follow the same trends, roughly?
I would guess it would be worse.
Well, Gen Z is going to be the generation now that's going to be, or if not already, not going to get married at all. If we want to be honest, I mean, there are some millennials that are married and may potentially divorce depending on the age of millennial. But we all know from moving down, as the generations get more down the line, a lot of young people under the age of 30 are not seeking to become husbands, wives, or don't know why that is personally. It's young black men will probably be more husbands than their counterparts. That is still up for grabs, but what the data shows that men after a certain age they do seek value and want marriage at some point in life. Usually, you want to get them at 35, because that'd be the moniker. All right, let's keep going. Fairies.
Why?
Because Gen Z women are the first women that are on social media. Plus, divorce keeps going up over time.
Well, divorce is lower now than it has been ever.
Right, because people aren't getting married. Because
Correct.
You're kind of trying to divert.
The divorce isn't going up.
Because the thing is, you're trying to divert from the question. If you want marriage to increase, you have to give a good answer to the question.
Because it's the only way that you can have. It's the only way you can have children without single motherhood.
What do children get out of marriage?
Well, if mommy and daddy aren't married, right, then the children have very, very bad outcomes. Single mother homes have terrible outcomes, and single father homes aren't tenable, generally speaking, because they're the working parent, right? So the only way for men to have families is through marriage.
So what do women get out of marriage?
They generally get resources. They generally get resources, and they get access to status, social status, security, things like this.
And what do men get out of marriage?
They get children out of marriage.
Okay. And what do they get out of marriage that they couldn't get from just a live-in girlfriend?
Mothers. So here's, an intact family, in other words.
Okay,
so
they can't,
here's the thing.
If the woman lives with him,
Yeah,
What's the
well,
difference?
the thing is when we look at
And
the
the
social,
other
hang on. Well, let me respond to
Okay,
it.
go ahead.
If we look at the social data for what you're talking about, this happens all the time. That's called a single mom, right? You live with the chick, you impregnate the chick, you're not married to the chick. Those end up in the most.
Crowder's in the same position. So are a lot of like
he doesn't have children with some. No, he doesn't. He doesn't have children with some live-in girlfriend, right?
Right, but he's not with the mother of his kids now. He had a really public divorce.
Yeah, but this is a different.
So like I know, but my point is, you can say data all you want, but when we're like people are witnessing conservative people that pushed a lot of this stuff getting divorced, like men are going to naturally do a cost-benefit analysis and realize there's no difference.
So here's the cost benefit. Here's a cost benefit analysis, Em.
And so, my other question too would be, who do the kids belong to? Do they belong to him or do they belong to her?
Yeah, so I believe in patrilineal society. I think that children belong to their fathers,
right?
And always have thought so. And that would be a form of reform inside of the court. And by the way, traditionally this was always the way it happened.
But in society today, where women get custody 90% of the time, who do the kids belong to? Do they
That's
belong
not the case
to her?
anymore. They don't get it 90% of the time now.
Do they belong to her? Do they belong to her or do they belong to him?
Well, they belong to the court system. Okay. They're the ones who make the allocation.
And where are the majority of the time who gets custody?
Yeah, that's generally speaking women. I agree.
Okay, so what do men get out of marriage? If the
so
majority of the time the kids belong to her and not him.
Okay, but here's the thing. You got to let me actually answer.
Okay.
So I'll try to answer this question, but it's comprehensive. So the step one, you have to reform the system, the court system. Men have to move towards the reformation of the court system. Is that challenging? Yes, but prenuptial agreements, as cited, I went and looked at the data again. They are mostly enforced. That is the case.
Right, when when they're contested,
hang on,
Pearl,
let me finish, Pearl.
When they're contested, because when they're contested,
because I'm not allowed to make a point. Only you're allowed to make points.
You're still gonna get dragged to court. That's the problem. So a lot of guys, if the prenup is contested,
you're not going to get dragged to court. This is the issue, right? This is a performative contradiction. Here's how.
Okay.
Because you say that women are reliant upon these men for resources. That's what women are getting out of it. So why is it if you had a prenup, they're not going to get resources? Why would they drag them to court? Why?
Because they're spiteful.
And not only spiteful, they want just to take your money and go another man. Let's keep it real. No one's really willing to have this conversation now, will you? Let's keep going.
Why did Crowder's wife?
But they would be.
Why did Crowder's wife?
Because she got a bunch of fucking money.
I know, but why did Crowder's wife leak footage to the press? She didn't have to do that. She'd probably
because she thought it would help her case for resources.
Right, but the problem is in the court of public opinion. Women are spiteful. It's not always about money. Ashley St. Clair was offered a ton of money just to shut up, right? She didn't shut up.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? Ashley St. Clair is going to get the money either way, right? She has the kid in the arrangement. That was not a marriage. Inside of a marriage, if Crowder had signed a prenup, I bet you things would have been completely different across the board. Same thing with most men who are wealthy who sign prenuptial agreements. They end up, women want the resources. That's the whole gain, right? I want the resources. If they can't get the resources, it's an incentive for the behavior. Not only that, but here's the other thing. If you promote against marriage, against the idea of marriage, and I'm not saying that you like this idea that I'm Michael Knowles or something, I'm telling men, just take the plunge and take the risks. No, we're both doing risk mitigation. Pearl's doing risk mitigation. I'm doing risk mitigation. What I'm saying with Pearl saying with risk mitigation is for no man is it ever worth it. So just play the field.
I did not say that. I did not. Well, I don't tell men what to do.
Okay.
I don't think it's my place.
I think it ultimately reduces.
Yeah, one thing I give Pearl credit, she doesn't tell men what to. She's going to lay out the information and make the men, young men especially, that is of marriage age, make the decisive decision. And prenups to a lot of people, whether work or don't work, it's not really effective if you don't know what you're doing. Let's keep listening.
To that though. So the thing is that my position is just this: risk mitigation. If you want to have children in a family, the best outcome for the kids it's going to be marriage. Like no matter what, it's going to be marriage. But you have to do risk mitigation.
That's what's in it for the kids.
And for the man.
Not for the man, because when you get married, you're just adding on another layer
Of what?
of now she can go for alimony. Because a lot of times it's not about the money, Andrew. I mean, yeah, like sometimes it is the money, but it's like men want to stop dealing with crazy women. Like the amount of money men will pay to get a wife to stop nagging him. And now she can if she chooses, contest the prenup and drag him to court. He could agree with the terms that she like asks for or whatever just to get it over with. But it's like the spitefulness of women. It's not necessarily always the money. And so again, you're going back to, well, it's best for the kids, right? But you don't answer the question, what's best for him?
Having a family is what's best for him.
Right.
By every single conceivable metric, having a family is what's best for men. It lowers the rates of STDs. It earns the earning income goes up. Their general welfare and happiness in a happy marriage goes way up. We can tell because we can look at the suicidality of men who have gone through terrific divorces or who stay single, right? And their depression rates are sky high. All of these things are sky high.
Why do you think they make more money in marriage?
Well, that would be the incentive for their kids.
Well, right. To keep up with kids are cheap. It's women's spending habits that are expensive. Right? The Botox, the clothes.
Yeah.
I mean, we had your wife on.
We
had your wife on, and she was going through the costs of kids. It's not as expensive.
Okay, let's go there. If kids not expensive, we're gonna do the math. We're gonna do the numbers. I'm letting them talk, and we're gonna do numbers on how much costs for kids' expense. Let's go.
Seemingly is what people say, according to.
Yeah, so I just
she
real
did,
quick
she
though,
did like
90% is up to 90%. The vast overwhelming majority of prenuptial agreements are not successfully contested in court. It seems like a massive incentive for women if they want to hold their resources, even from a secular side, to do this. But if you combine this with the Christian side, the Christian ethics side of very religious women, the divorce rate goes down to damn near nil.
Okay. Well, are most women religious in this society?
No.
Okay.
But neither are most men.
Okay. Right. But so now you're going into like selling your religion, right?
Well,
now,
only if you want to have a family.
Well,
if you want to have the most successful family, yeah.
Right. But I mean, Orthodox is 1% of the population. I'm not a religious show.
It's not just for Orthodox.
What I'm talking about is, and again, you're not really answering the question. You're saying you might get your kids.
No, what I'm saying is that by every single conceivable metric which is available for men, what is considered the loneliness epidemic, or the number one reported mental health issue for men, is that they're lonely. They feel lonely.
Right.
If that is the case and loneliness goes away when they get married, then it seems like what would be really good for men would be to get married in a good, stable relationship. Your counter is, but there's not that many marriageable women.
Correct.
But there's never always.
I know, but you agree with that, right? So most men aren't getting a marriageable woman.
Most men never got one.
Right. So most men, it's not, marriage isn't for them.
Yeah, but you can't create the conditionals.
Most men, like if out of 2 men or 10 men, over 6 aren't going to get a good deal, right? But
they never did. They never got a good deal.
So are you telling them to take a bad deal?
No, what I'm telling them specifically is very simple. That the historic fact of the matter is that most men never got to reproduce at all.
Right.
Your chances of reproduction now are way higher than ever. And the reason the sex drive is so high for men is because it's a biological imperative for reproduction. Otherwise, you wouldn't get a boner and want to go have sex, right? Especially not with good-looking, younger-looking women. That's the whole point of it. If you want stability in society, which is good for men, you want stability against degeneracy, which is also very good for men, then you want stable marriages for men.
What does society give men in return for producing a stable society? What do they give men in return?
Well, society never gave men anything for the production of stable societies.
Fine, but I'm asking.
Before she continues on and hammer down with the question, if you're not subscribed to the Chaos Marine Show, what are you waiting for? Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and leave comments. Engage in the conversation, in the chat room. Subscribe. Oh, one thing I do want to share, because they talk about the expense of children. I look up one of them. It said the average right now expense to raise child or children varies, and it fluctuates depending on the state you are in. That includes living expense, healthcare, education, childcare, etc. With childcare, you could do if you're keeping them at home, you raise them up to they're old enough to go to school. Roughly, that's how it goes. And the parent can expect to spend between roughly an average of 12 grand to 30 grand per year per child, depending on those factors. Now, if you want me to go deeper, I'll look into more detail, but that's just the numbers so far. Let's continue. And one other thing I want y'all to pay attention closely. Pearl's not gonna really answer none of Andrew's questions, what I've noticed. And you're gonna find reasons why. And still, she's in the right to really have the conversation, but she's not in the right to really engage in a good debate, because debates, there has to be ongoing yes or no answers. Listen carefully. Let's go.
Today, what do they give them in return?
Yeah, I mean,
Do they give them? Do they treat them well?
What men get in exchange for having a stable society is they get a stable society. That's the exchange. That's always been the exchange. Like historically, men have always been fodder. They've always been war fodder. They've always been basically treated poorly. But the idea here that we have to make perfect conditionals for marriage absent any risk or mitigating risk is silly. That's impossible no matter what.
If men keep getting married, what is the incentive for the laws to change? Where is the incentive?
Well, hang on. They can still get married absent the state, and that would still create conditionals for the laws to change.
If men keep having children, what is the incentive for society to give them fairer laws?
Well, what do you mean? If they have children and there's prenuptial agreements in place, women now have incentive to not destroy their own financial security for the future.
But again, so you're saying, well, she won't completely ruin your life, right? You're not saying a reward.
Yeah, but let's start with the fact that
you get enthusiastic sex with a hot wife.
But there's a lot of marriages. You missed the point, though, that there's a lot of marriages that work.
Statistically,
what about the fact
that
there's so many marriages that work?
Statistically, that's just not true.
Well, okay, let's look at the statistics. Since you want to bring them up,
go ahead.
You're looking at an estimate of 40%. 40% of the marriages are failing. Okay, the vast majority of them are still not. And as less people get married, those marriages are actually working out longer.
What is the obesity rate in America?
Oh, it's overwhelming for men and women.
Okay. Are most men ecstatic to take on this enormous risk and responsibility for a fat wife?
No.
Okay. So again, you have to answer the question, what's in it for
I'm
guys?
answering the question. So what's in it for men is the only thing that's ever been in it for men. Family.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be a good enough answer. If you're right, then men are going to sign up to get married. You don't have to convince me.
But what about the qualifiers of men have to live in this world?
Right.
We have to live in this world. We live in a world full of degeneracy and basically horrifying things because of the instability of society. And you almost disempower them in a way because you're saying they don't have the power to change the nature of law.
I just want them to make an informed decision.
Yeah,
that's it.
But I mean, the informed decision towards what? Their happiness?
Whatever they want to do. It's not my place to tell
men.
Well,
do you think they want to be happy?
It's not my place to tell men how to live.
Well, do you think they want to be happy, though?
Well, I think that happiness is a feeling that comes and goes. So I don't really...
So you don't want them to be happy?
I think
you just want to do what they want?
No, I didn't say that. I said it's a feeling that comes and goes.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
I don't think studies
I would think ultimately you would want men happy, right?
I want them to do what they want to do.
Okay, well, do you think that most men want to be happy?
I'm not a preacher channel, right? I'm not here to tell you how to live. I'm not saying that you're a preacher.
I'm not preaching. Right now, I'm just talking about the facts. The facts of the matter are, don't you think men want to be happy?
Well, if marriage makes them happy, then I'm sure they'll sign up. I'm sure the marriage rates will go up.
Yeah, that's not an answer to the question I asked.
Sure.
But the question I asked specifically is, do you think men want to be happy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So if you think that men want to be happy, and if we look at all of the data that we can possibly...
Now, you see that? She stumbled. She didn't really answer the question because, remember, like many content creators like myself or anybody, but let's say the content creators you like to enjoy and watch, they got to play the fence because you, the viewers, are going to question not only their integrity, but the reason of their answering and why. And Pearl, like most women, most female content creators, They gotta stay in the middle. They cannot say yes, no. But the problem is you have to agree on something. You can't just sit there and say it's not your place also, because this is an actual debate. And like Andrew, regardless of like or not, the Crucible, he is good at the debates. So yeah, men by default want to be happy. They want to have purpose, fulfilling purpose. So not only they work hard to slave out there in the streets, to go out there and slay the dragon, but also bring back home the food, the money, and hope that in return, the loved ones, his wife and etc., will appreciate it. That's what men normally in their mind will fight for. Overall, let's keep going.
Fine on male promiscuity and happiness, it doesn't look very good for them. So even if it were the case that you advocate against marriage, which is fair, especially secular marriage,
I don't advocate against marriage. I see it. I'll try not to straw man it. I see it disappearing from the middle class completely. I see it just becoming something that the rich do. And I see the birth rates continuing to decline, and I see marriage going away because people like you can't give men good answers on why they get married. Should accumulate that risk.
What did men ever get?
You're saying risk 40% of your income for 18 years. If you have 2+ children, the woman can take you to court and take 40% of your income. It's not that every woman will.
God damn, 40%. I thought it was 50%. Where the hell she get 40%? I gotta look this up, man. No. Anybody in the chat room that's watching the stream, can you confirm that it's 40% a man will lose in his income if she decided to file for divorce? I need answers. That don't sound like it sound accurate. Last time I heard was 50. I hear a lot of men and a lot of people been floating this information that it's been 50%. Can anybody verify this? All right, let me look at it. If anybody in the chat room will verify it, let me know. And please support the channel, hit the super chat, or like the stream.
It's that every woman can. As soon as you enter into a marriage contract, she has the leverage.
Now answer my question. What did men ever get out of marriage? What did men ever get out of marriage?
I don't really care about what they got in the past.
Answer my question.
But Pearl, you gotta care. What does the purpose of you doing your content is to really inform men also? What do they really get out of marriage? And you don't care. You do care because you emphasize it on your channel. It's a major, not only talk points, but it's a major tool that people come to watch your content. So you could at least be respectful and answer and say you don't care. You do care because this is the purpose of your platform. Stop the cap.
Did they ever get out of marriage? But I don't care
because I'm talking about the facts
I don't care
today.
if you don't care. Answer the question. What did men ever get out of marriage?
I don't care.
Well,
it's about like because we have to operate. We have to operate
for marriage.
Like what does a guy care about what happened 100 years ago? He cares about the decisions he has to make today.
Yeah, I know, but
he has to use the facts today. You're like a question
avoiding machine.
No, you want me to do what you do, which is prescribe. I don't prescribe.
I'm not even asking for prescriptions. Okay. I'm asking right now for a description. What did men ever get out of marriage? What?
Yeah, well, I can think it's a stupid question. So like, I don't think it matters.
What did they ever get out of it? Ever?
I don't know. Tell me.
You don't know.
No, go ahead. No, tell me.
They got the same thing I'm prescribing, which is a family. That's the what else would the incentive ever be?
And again, if that's so great, then men will sign up. If that's great, so like if a product's good, there's a big demand, right?
Mm-hmm. There is a big demand. Men want to get married.
Sure. Then
but
if they wanted to, they would, right?
When we talk past each other is like if you describe all the issues, that's fair, right? But the description of the issue is supposed to be for the purpose of what men do best, which is solving the issue. I don't mind you giving all the descriptors. I think that's great. Okay. But the idea of like, Andrew, what do men get right now? That's not a good enough reason. But what did men ever get out of it? It's the same reason. It must be the best reason.
Then run for office. Run.
I mean, I would much rather fund NGOs so that I could get people in key positions to change law. But the same principle.
Go do it.
But what I'm saying to you is like, from a descriptive standpoint, I am doing it. I have been doing it.
Okay, then I'm sure there'll be great change in the next 10 years.
Well, we're going to try,
and I'll be completely wrong.
Yeah, but I mean, the trends can continue to nosedive. But let's assume for a second that like it all nosedives. What does the future look like then?
Well, I don't think there'll be change until my prediction is we'll only see change when society crumbles enough for women to face the consequences of their decisions.
And what happens
Unfortunately.
then?
Then there might be change. That's what I
Okay,
would
but what-
predict.
but I
I would
mean,
say
what happens?
I would predict that things go down until things are falling apart enough, and then maybe there'll be a policy change. Maybe.
Meaning that
probably
we can
probably
fix-
not. Probably not.
Meaning we can
but,
fix the problems, right?
not anytime soon.
No, but when we reach this like plateau,
Sure.
so then wouldn't it logically
Potentially.
follow then that we should accelerate the decline as quickly as possible to reach that plateau to fix these things?
Sure. If that's
Yeah,
what,
so-
sure.
So then that's an accelerationist mindset, right?
I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm saying I don't see them changing anytime soon. That's it. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
think.
but-
I don't
but
think
all-
in my
but-
lifetime there'll be major.
But
policy
ultimately, do you
changes.
want to?
I would agree with Pearl. It's not changing right now. The society has to be in so much dire need for people to still interact, men to still participate in the society. It means they got to participate with their time, their resource, and their seed to keep the population of America going. That's the only way I could see it really work. But men are doing what's necessary now to draw back a little bit, to apply more pressure into the more bigger heads of society, to really push back and roll back these policies so it makes it more enticing for men to still take a better deal than the deal they're getting right now, which is marriage and maybe having children. All right, let's go.
See them change?
It would be nice.
Yeah. So then if that's the case, I'll just assume the position for a moment, your position, just descriptors, here's where we're going. It would still be really wise to have men's rights advocacy groups and things like this in place for this inevitable decline so that those types of policies can then be pushed so that we're like ready for them, right?
Sure, but the first one was in 1910, so I don't. If we're where we are today, and the first one was over 100 years ago.
The first what? Policy?
No, the first men's right advocacy. I think it was around 1910. I don't know the exact.
Yeah, but they were
year.
advocating for completely different things, right?
I mean, I saw ones about divorce law early in the 1900s. Off the top of my head, I don't know, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, divorce, it used to be we had coverture laws. So, I mean, coverture laws basically, in that case, you had to have show cause in order to get divorced, and coverture laws, things like that. It was most of the early 1900s, I believe. So the thing that's interesting, though, is like, as I look
but
at this.
my point is, I just don't see it being effective because the last 100 years it's gotten worse, not better. So why would I
but-
think? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. But I mean, so the thing is like things have gotten better. Abortion laws have been rolled back, right?
But Plan B's gone up.
True. Only in some states, though. I went and checked the stats on that as well.
Sex work has gone up too.
But you know what else is going down is female promiscuity and male promiscuity over time.
Right.
And what's interesting, but
STD rates are up. So how do you explain
because
that?
sex work is up.
Okay, well, if that's not what the guys dating are saying, but okay.
Yeah, because they're dating women who have only. I mean, you're talking
Sure.
about like 1 in 10 or 1 in 20 now.
Sure.
It can have an OnlyFans. The sex work epidemic has exploded STDs.
Right.
I
But
mean,
when's
we can
the
look
last-
at this
but
objectively.
When's the last time you dated? Like, when's the last time you actually dated?
Oh, it's been fucking, I don't know, like what, 17 years
So
or
how
something.
do you think you know better than the guys dating? Like, what's out
I
there?
mean, when's the last time you dated?
Like a year ago, year and a half
Okay,
ago.
so from your sample size, you think that in 17 years the marketplace
it's
for dating has changed so much that I'm not allowed to
completely.
have any input in
Oh
it?
no, I just don't think you really know what's on the ground if you haven't done it in 17 years, because it's the advent of social media has changed the dating marketplace a lot, like a lot.
Yeah. Why do you think? Wait a second.
So-
Back up.
Yeah,
I don't understand why you think that you couldn't have input and research the stat. I'm using the same stats you're using. Like it's not, and I have the same conversations with thousands of people you have, men and women both. The same exact,
Right.
like the same amount of anecdotal
sorry.
evidence and statistics, right?
Sorry, what I could say, maybe a better way to say it is, I think it's like an oversimplification of the problem when you're saying, oh, it's just like bad women. that these guys are dating. Like, I don't
No,
really think it's that
That's
simple.
not what I said at all.
Or it's
what
just,
I said
it's
is that
just
the
sex worker.
conditionals-
It's just sex worker women that these guys are dating, right?
No, that would account for one thing: STDs.
Okay.
The STD
correct
rates
me.
go
What
sky
did you?
high.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So what I said gave you was the answer that you're always looking for. The men get out of marriage same thing they always got out of it, a family. And why is it that men are always gravitating towards family? Well, it seems to be biologically hardwired in them because they've always done that.
Sure, it is.
So if that's the case, their happiness levels intrinsically tied to that. It seems that if you wanted to advocate for men, then you would be advocating the most for the idea of keeping marriage sacrosanct and also making sure that these things got reformed as quick as possible.
Okay. If someone took your prescription, can you give me like step by step your prescription for how men, if to get married, stay married, what's your prescription?
First of all, I wouldn't say, you keep on framing
ahead.
this as though I'm saying take a plunge when I'm not saying take
totally
a plunge.
fine. Tell me what's beginning
so
to end.
First,
so where should they source?
I would look at these.
Before she goes into that, and before Andrew goes into that, and remember, there's only solutions. There is no what they call real I mean, actually, it's trade-offs. No real solutions. All right, let's go.
Stats.
No, not the stats. Where should they source the women from? Like, what state should they go to? What church? I'm guessing you're going to say Orthodox.
Okay, so I'll answer your question, right? You're not going to find huge variances state by state.
Okay.
You're just not going to, okay? But you can definitely upgrade the chances of you finding a woman who's not going to have these behaviors, which you and I would both consider non-optimal. Okay. So it wouldn't just be the Orthodox Church, Roman Catholic Church, and even Protestants, as long as the worship is more than one time per week, right? Their marriage rates significantly go down. If you get married as a virgin, you almost never get a divorce because your sample size is super low.
So are you saying they should find a virgin? Or do you think that's realistic nowadays to find a virgin woman?
Yeah. No. I'm giving you a step-by-step prescription of all the things you can do to mitigate risk.
Right. No, but I'm not saying mitigate risk. I'm saying, do they download a dating app? Are they going to go on Instagram? How are they going to do it?
Okay.
Yeah.
So
go to
if
church.
You look, yeah. So I'll walk through it, right?
Okay.
But what we're talking about is risk mitigation. So let's start with risk mitigation.
But I want the dating process from beginning to end.
Oh, okay. We'll give.
Go ahead.
What? You want me to give a dating process from beginning to end for every individual man on planet Earth?
Well, okay, if a guy wants to go on your prescription.
No, the dating process is going to be very
How is he going to source women?
On region, it's going to be varied on man, it's going to be varied on what options are available. But what you can look at is all the signs of the universals which mitigate risk. What you're asking is for an absurdity. It's like me asking, tell me step by step, how do I become a successful podcaster?
Oh,
every woman on Earth, how do you become a successful podcaster?
I could do that pretty easily.
Do it.
No, but I asked you first, and you don't have an answer because you don't have
it's an impossible question.
No, it's actually pragmatic because if you have a real,
it's not even pragmatic.
If you have a real plan for men, you have to have a step by step. Like, what's step one?
Yeah, so step one would be looking at the mitigation for risk. That would be step one.
But you have to get a girl on a date first before you even get there.
No, you don't have to get a girl on a date to mitigate risk, bro.
Okay, well, I guess there's no risk if you never get on the date.
Yeah, that's right. So the thing is, if you're talking about
So walk away.
If we're talking about mitigation,
where is he sourcing the women from? Instagram.
You're asking for a step. Stop cutting me off.
So, I need you.
If you're asking a question, you got to let me answer the fucking question. But you're not answering
the question.
What's the question? But then you have to not talk while I answer it.
Okay, I'll try. I'm a woman, so it's kind of tough.
Okay, go ahead.
Step-by-step process. How does he get a girl on a date? Where should he meet them?
Get a girl on a date. You would go online. You'd have conversations with women everywhere that you went. The various things that we've always done to get women on dates.
Okay, so you go on the dating apps and get women on dates.
No, I didn't say that.
You know, Pearl, you're making this life harder as it is. It's not that complicated. Usually, the whole goal is we should be going outside dating. But that's not a story. Let's go.
What did I say? Repeat back what I said.
You said go online. I assumed you went dating apps and talk to women. And talk to women. Totally
And
fine.
yes,
And do
are
the
you ever
things
going to
that
get a
we've
woman?
done.
Are you ever going to get a woman on a date, Pearl, if you don't talk to any of them?
Okay, so you talk to women and
Are you ever
what-
going to get a woman
Totally
on a
fine.
date if you
No,
don't talk
that's-
to them?
Okay,
No.
so I want to keep
No.
going through the process.
No.
I want to keep going through the process. So you meet them on a dating app, okay? Or you meet them
I
at
didn't say
where?
meet them on a dating app.
Okay, then can you tell me where?
Yeah, I would. All you have to do to begin the initial process of dating women is use whatever connections, resources you have to start connecting with various women. You can use dating apps, sure. That seems to be one of the most common ways that you do it.
Okay.
But you can also use friends of friends. You can use
Okay.
your family members. You can use all sorts of different ways to connect with women the same way that men and women have been connecting forever.
Sure,
Except now
sure.
you have also the online component.
Sure, totally fine. So then what's next? Do you take her on a date? Is that
You can take her on a
traditionally-
date, but usually the second step would be to be in the talking phase. And inside the talking phase,
yeah.
you're able to actually identify many of these risk mitigating factors, which become immediately apparent in 90% of the conversations.
Sure.
They become very apparent, the red flags or the risk mitigation. I wouldn't take a woman on a date. I would be in the talking phase with multiple women for an elongated period of time
Okay.
before I ever took one out on a date.
Okay, fine. So how long should they talk before they get to the date?
Well, it's going to vary from person to person.
Okay, but what would you suggest?
I would suggest that you talk to them until you feel like you've gathered enough information and intel on the mitigation of these red flags, and then I
Sure.
would take them. Sure, you could take them on a date then.
Okay, and what information are you trying to get from them?
Well,
what are the
that's
red
great.
flags? Go
Glad
ahead,
that you
go ahead.
asked that
Go
question
ahead.
for risk mitigation.
Sure.
I'd be looking for things like, were you raised by a single mom? Right? What are your goals? What are the structure in life that you're after? Whether or not it is the case you have a present father in your life. How many tattoos do you have? That would be another good one. Your promiscuity level. I do a little intel maybe around their Facebook, things like this. See how many male friends they have. There's tons and tons.
Okay,
The same
fine.
things
Cool.
that women do.
Yeah, totally fine. So that
Yeah, right there. So simple. It is so simple. It's so simple. And it doesn't take a rock science to do all that. You know, let me say something. Do you know a lot of these chicks tell themselves on social media the most? Did y'all know that? Y'all aware of that? These women talk about their business on social goddamn media. It's a joke. It's crazy. You don't really have to know much about them. Just follow their digital footprint. They'll tell on themselves night in and night out. That's the best what they call resume to know you want to engage or not person. All right, let's keep going.
now you get her on the date. Are you trying to sleep with her? Are you
No.
waiting till you're suggesting they wait till marriage? Is that what you're
Well, yeah, only if they want the best outcomes. Yeah.
Okay.
And they don't want to create
So-
single moms that they have
Okay.
to take care of their
Sure,
children. Yeah.
sure.
It seems
So
like a good idea.
if she's not a virgin, are you telling them they should still wait till marriage?
Yeah, I still would. Yeah.
Okay, so
if you're interested in a woman who's not a virgin, right?
well, that's
my
that's
assumption is the man's not going to be a virgin either.
95%, right?
Yeah, and most of the men aren't
Okay.
going to be virgins or taking those women out either.
Okay.
That's the case. Yes,
Okay,
factually,
so
that is the
you-
dating market.
So you
now.
want men to pay a higher price for what other men got for free.
Oh, so okay. Well, let's just grant this. Let's say they don't, right? You want men to sleep with a woman on the first date?
Can you answer my question? I'll answer
I did.
yours.
Okay,
So,
so the answer's
yes.
in the answer. I'll explain it.
No.
So
do you
the
want
thing
men
is,
to
it's
pay a
like,
high? You don't like the answer
you
to the
don't
question.
you don't have to sleep with this woman to get to know her. If you think that she's worth the risk and you think that she's worth it to stick around to sleep with later or to date long term, sure. The problem that you have here is
So
that
what
if
if-
we
what if-
operate no, my turn. If we operate off of your logic, right? If a woman has ever slept with a man ever, should no man ever wait to sleep with that woman?
I think
Or
that's
should
a
it be
that's a tough
immediate?
sell.
What's
You
that?
can sell that. It's a tough sell.
So then you think that the woman, if you've ever had sex as a woman, you should just give it up?
Okay, so you want guys to
Like,
marry,
answer the question. Answer the
I
question.
will answer that question.
No, you're not answering the
I will
question. You're
answer.
avoiding
I
it.
will answer that question.
If a woman's
But
ever
if-
had sex, every man she dates, should she fuck him?
I will. No, I don't think
No.
so.
Okay.
I don't
so then
think
you're
every-
saying
I
that,
don't
that,
think
that
she should
make him wait.
I don't. I think there's certain men you can treat special though, and I think most men want to be treated special and not like other men.
So is every man you've ever gone on a date with, have you slept with him immediately?
No. How about you? How about you?
No, I don't sleep with any men.
No. I mean, what was your dating experience like? Did you wait? I mean, if you want to go person, yeah.
Of course. I like to get to know people, things like this, of course.
Sure.
But the thing is like, that's my point.
I mean,
my point is,
I don't want to go personal, but if you're good, you know what I mean?
No, I'm not trying to be personal. I'm trying to demonstrate a point. Of course, you don't sleep with every man immediately.
Right.
That would be absurd.
Right.
That's not a personal attack.
Right.
It's just an
But women
fact.
do sleep with men faster that they like.
Generally speaking, I think the same thing with men. They generally will try to sleep with women faster if they like
How
them.
would a guy know the difference between a girl that's using him for resources, or like just trying to use him for the lifelong provisioning, or that actually likes him?
Well, every woman's going to be utilizing men to some.
You know, to the guy wrote, you know, it's funny thing with debates. A lot of people don't take turns. Like, they don't know when there's a pause in debate when they could start talking. I think that's the weakness with a lot of people when they go into these digital debates. Hold on. Oh, damn it. Ugh. Oh, hold on a second, guys. Thing died. I knew my mouse was gonna. Yeah, they go into these debates. But let me keep going because something happened. Let's go.
Degree for resources and historically always has.
Okay.
The idea, though, that you can't mitigate these risks by taking a look at the entirety of their social media, doing a little social stalking, which is you're just looking around at their connections and things like this in order to see what the general trend is. You can basically determine this fairly quickly. In fact, men have become so savvy to this in the dating market, they're beginning the high rates of rejection now, where they're like, nope.
So there's
no
women, there's no women that at all could mitigate any of this. I mean, the biggest hoes that I knew in school had pretty much no digital footprint, no social media, none.
Well, I mean, that's
because it's like a strategy actually, because they want to get they want to get around. And
well, it's really difficult now. Well, then, even if that was the
it's
case,
like a small
I would just put that as another red flag. Oh, you have no social media presence? Nah, maybe that's another red flag.
But wouldn't you say that women are developing new strategies every year to get around some of totally. But don't you think that some of the men that you're suggesting this to are going to get got? Just balance of probabilities.
Yeah, but no matter what conditionals we make in society, some men are going to get got. There's nothing you can do about that ever. Doesn't matter if you had the perfect utopia, some men are going to get got.
Okay, so what percent, going through all these strategies, what percent of men do you think will get got?
I think that you
think
can
it's
lower
0%?
the risk. I think you can lower the risk mitigation down to somewhere around 15 to 20%, which is what we see in these types of elongated Christian marriages.
So you think about 20% of men will get got?
I think that all 20% of men have always gotten got, and there's a damn thing you can do about it.
But why would a man take that deal?
Because they want to have a family, like they've always wanted to.
Right. But, and do you think that if people stay married, that's automatically a successful marriage if they just don't divorce?
No, that wouldn't always meet the criteria for a successful marriage.
So,
right? But hang on, by the same logic, you would have to agree then that not every time women want to get divorced, it's unjustified.
True. I agree.
So if that's the case, then you have an equal wash there. So the idea here is, what do we want for a stabilized society, which makes sense, right? For men to have maximum happiness. It seems to be marriage.
Right, but you're switching it back to what's in it for society, and I keep trying to stick to what's in it for the individual.
Men are society.
Man. Right.
Men run society.
Do you really think that a 20% failure rate, where a woman could potentially really ruin his life for 18 years. I mean, I've talked to a good percentage.
Well, what failure rate's acceptable? 1%?
I think one is too many. When you have a quarter when you have a quarter of men raising kids that aren't theirs, I think one time that happens is too many.
That's utopian. That's literally utopian thinking. Well, so if there's ever a case that a man can get got, then you would just recommend it. It's so silly. That's utopianism. That's impossible. It's like saying no men should ever drive cars because they might get in a wreck. It's like it's going to happen.
I wouldn't say that's the same, because I would say a car wreck, it is not likely that you're going to be enslaved to that car for 18 years. And I think
You're
maybe
enslaved
I
to the
just,
damage it does to
I
you
think
for 18
maybe
years.
I just have a different point of view, because I've seen men on the brink of suicide, Andrew, and I've seen men one of the worst, I've told you this story before. One of the worst marriage divorce stories I ever saw was a guy that took pretty much your advice. Okay.
Which was what? What's my advice?
What you say. He waited till marriage. He met a girl in a Latin Catholic mass church.
Yep.
He had the temperament. He thought she was the right person. And it was actually really difficult. She took his kid. She was actually Eastern European. So she was Eastern Europe. So she was actually raised to be a wife, and she came to the US. He met her in California.
Yeah.
And she stole the kid and took him back. She won custody. She took him back. And he spent $300,000 trying to get her back. He went into a war zone trying to get his kid.
Yeah.
Now the kid is like 6. He hasn't seen him in years. The kid doesn't recognize him, and he speaks Russian. How is he happy?
I
know,
Damn, that's screwed up, man. That's messed up. Woo! I don't know what to say, man. Listen, gentlemen, if a woman is gonna be that defiant, maybe you should move on and create a family, because that's not worth it, in my opinion. For her to sit there, go take your seed, go back to her homeland, and then you go spend your money to go search and try and be involved, but she already did enough damage where your own son doesn't recognize you. That's on her, not on him. I would just moved on, personally, because that tells me, and I hope he's not paying no child support. Let's hope for God he's not. I hope not. Can that be even worse? But let's listen more to this. Let's listen more.
And it's easy. I think it's easy maybe for you to like wave it away and just say, well,
I'm not waving it away. That's horrible. It's absolutely horrible.
Men, it doesn't matter. Like, don't even think about that risk. But what I've seen.
Think about that risk.
Right. But you're saying, but do it anyway. And I'm saying I can't tell you what to do, because that is an astronomical risk that I understand if you as a man don't want to take that. I completely understand.
Yeah.
Another issue.
So here's the alternative.
Can you let me finish? So another issue too is like the waiting till marriage. I mean, you go on monologues too a lot too.
Not long, because you cut in every 5 seconds.
The other thing is 1 out of 3 women have STDs. So you could
of sex work.
No, not necessarily.
We can look at the height of the promiscuity. The sexual revolution wasn't even close.
You know, I would have to disagree with you, Andrew. It's beyond sex work. Don't be fooled by the OnlyFans these chicks are creating now, just to make a little change for little strange things. Because there are some simps out there that's gonna pay for that little weak ass subscription to see them play with their toes and pop their coochie. But nonetheless, they're out here having promiscuous sex, reckless sex. Some with condom, some without condom. And they're not just putting it in their actual hole. They're putting it in all other 2-3 holes, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that will heighten and raise the ST rates of a lot of women. But we're not having that conversation. I have to be ready for that conversation. Anyway, let's keep going.
Close.
Yeah, but a lot of normal women have STDs too. They do.
And they always have.
True.
So do men. They usually get it from men during promiscuous sex as well.
Right, but that's back to the what about the men, though? We're talking about.
It's not what about the men. I'm just giving an accounting for this, for how this works. STDs would be a good idea for not having promiscuous sex. But if your idea is like, because some men are going to have catastrophic results and we can never mitigate that. I don't care what society you're in, ever. You're not going to be able to mitigate that some men are going to have catastrophic results. That instead they should use women, basically, and women them for purely sexual hedonistic needs. If that's the case, then the very ideology of like, look at all these STDs, that explodes under that same ideology. That's like silly. It's counterproductive.
Well, under your strategy, they could marry a woman with herpes.
Under your strategy, they're going to get herpes anyway.
Not really, because if you wear a condom, it's less than 1% of men that.
Then why are they exploding?
They're exploding because men and women aren't wearing condoms. But if you wear a condom, it's not the likelihood of you getting something, especially as a guy, is pretty low.
So men are just stupid, don't know how to wear condoms, or
I mean, some men, they really should.
yeah. No, I don't think so. I think that
to be
what's
honest,
happened is-
I mean, a lot of guys, they don't.
What's
wear
happened
that.
is promiscuity, especially in the sex industry, where STDs are 10 times higher, has now been gravitating towards women's bedrooms on OnlyFans and things like this. They have a
God damn it! You can't make this shit up! God damn it! You can't make this shit up!
I had to play that because when they talk about saying that men are dumb, I would have to not agree on that. I mean, we all know about condoms now at this point. Unless some men now out there, they are so brave to go stick their thing into anything and not just the actual hole. They stick in all the other holes, including the back door, backdoria, or what Corey Holcomb like to refer. You gonna have problems. You're gonna wake up one day and you're gonna take a leak, and then that junk's gonna burn like hot fire. So I don't know if I want to agree that men are dumb. I think some men choose not to wear no condoms. They love it raw, baby. You know what? What's the name? Old Dirty Bass said, "Ooh, baby, I like it raw. Ooh, baby, I like it raw." Let's continue.
of men who come in they're promiscuous with, and this has exploded the STD rate. And by the way, I can prove this because in every Western nation where sex work can be done from the home, you see these explosive rates generally in the areas where there's the most amount of sex workers. It gravitates out.
You think it's all sex work? It's not the women in college?
No, there's always been STDs, of course, that have been in the general public. I'm not talking about the accounting for the explosion in them.
Right, but you don't think it's common on, say, college campuses for STDs to go around?
Of course, but that's always been the case on college campuses.
Right. But saying that's always, I'm trying to operate in today, not the past, right?
Yeah, but I'm trying to give you a prism so that, because you're acting like this stuff is new, or that that risk mitigation is somehow new. This has always been the case that men had to mitigate risk when it came to marriage. You're only talking about the selection of, well, you could get really fucked by the courts, which is true, and that the courts are biased towards women, which is true. I'm giving prescriptors for how we begin the process of changing those things. Whereas what you do is you act as though these are brand new societal issues when they're actually not brand new societal issues.
No, I operate in today, so I try to focus on what's going on now. And
yeah, but can't you look to the past for prescriptors?
Right, but why not if the past, not if it doesn't matter?
It matters.
Okay, well,
or we can't get prescriptors. We can't get prescriptors of the future unless we look at societies which worked.
Right, but societies that don't exist today, that are different than today. I have to operate in I have to operate. I'm not a lawmaker, so I have to operate in the society we have today.
Yeah, you're not a lawmaker, you're an influencer. So you to influence people into lawmaking, or influence people towards laws, or you to influence them towards better behaviors, or things like this.
I think influencers that think they have that kind of sway and power are just as delusional as the women that think that they're going to get a man that makes like $5 million a year. That's my belief.
Yeah. So
you may you may think different. That's just what I think. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party seem to disagree. They're buying up influencers left and right all over the country, and it seems to be swaying a lot of localized elections. So I think influencers must have some kind of, influence, right? Otherwise, why is it that the political arms of the various parties are doing everything they can to get them under their wig? So ultimately, I think when we're talking about your kind of descriptive world, again, I don't even disagree with a lot of these descriptions, but if we apply Pearl Davis's descriptions, which do sound more prescriptive, why should men do X, right? Well, it's like, okay, well, here's why. And then you say, but here's the risk for that. Okay, I agree there's the risk for that. Well, now what? I don't know. Is that it? Just like, I don't know?
If a product is good, then people are lining up to buy it. And so what you're doing is you're saying, no, there's no risk. Men are lining up to buy this, but the stats just don't say that. They don't. So if you're right, then
well, first of all, I reject your scripts.
If you're right, then the marriage rate will go up, and traditionalism will return. I hope you're right.
Yeah, but don't you understand that the positive of your framing is completely rejected by me? I'm not one of these guys who's making these crazy advocations for, hey, bro, just take the plunge, bro, and hopefully things will work out, bro. That's the Con Inc. guys who are saying, oh, this is all men's fault, this and that. I'm talking about prescriptive mitigations to try to fix the issues in marriage, the very thing men are screaming that they want more than anything. And you just say, well, kind of just do what you want. Here's the information. Good luck. It's like, okay, you can do that. But then in what account can you ever criticize any of those guys in the Con Inc. party who give prescriptions? How can you ever do that if you don't give a counter prescription?
Well, if their prescriptions are leading men to their death and men are 9 times more likely to commit suicide because they don't warn them, I can criticize them.
Then what should they do instead,
all
Pearl?
I'm saying,
Then what should they do instead, Pearl?
I think they should make an informed decision. Because
I think
they should make an informed decision. Why is a man immoral if he doesn't choose to get married?
That's not immoral.
Okay, so then why are you arguing with me?
Yeah, well, the argument here is about men's happiness and what they get, right? Not about whether or not it's moral if they get married or not. I'm not saying it's immoral for men to not get married.
I could be, okay, then what's the disagreement? Then why do you care?
The disagreement is on the prescription of why it is
but
that
I didn't give a prescription.
Marriage, well, here's the disagreement. I'm trying to explain it to you. I'm not saying that it's immoral for men to not get married. I am interested in the happiness and longevity of men and their overall wellness, well-being, and health in the society I have to live in, because I count on them to provide the security. I count on them to provide all luxury. I count on them to build all infrastructure. And so if men aren't doing well, none of us are doing well. And so if we're going to associate these problems, and Con Inc. says, well, just take the plunge because society continues to go, and Pearl Davis says men can just do whatever the fuck they want, then it's like, well, then how do you criticize anything prescriptively? How do we get anywhere prescriptively? It makes no sense to me.
Do you think men...
Okay, let's go there. Let's go ahead, Andrew. Yeah, men will enjoy, want some in return. Nothing's perfect. And Pearl must understand, during Andrew's logic, he wants to see stability back in America. And in his mind, to our knowledge, or what we try to understand Andrew's rhetoric, the only way you're going to get stability back in this country is men are going out there finding women, putting a ring on it, without the state involvement, and starting a family without the state being involved, and become husband wife without the state being involved. Now, let that sink in. They are married, but not by the legal terms of the state, between church and state. They get the state out of their business, out of their bedroom, out of all avenues. Because at the end, a man doesn't want to feel like if things go south, he doesn't lose, he don't have to worry about losing all his money and his resource to an ungrateful chick that wants just to pull the plug just as. That's his rhetoric. All right, let's keep going. Oh, and for those that's putting comments in the chat room, I will read it normally, but if it's not going through Google on my end, that means you got to rephrase the question. Or if you feel it, you so kindly strong that it should be read, put in super chat. Let's go.
Should do what you want.
I think that if prescriptively you move towards the type of society I advocate for, I think, yes, the wellness of men would do way better.
So men should do what you want and not what they want.
No, they should do prescriptively what's best for men.
Okay.
That's not, now that is true that I'm aligned with that,
okay,
but that's not doing what I want. That's doing what's in their best interest.
Okay. So men should listen to you and not not what they want for their life, but what you want for their life.
Well, what did I just say? I just said that
according to
what
the
they
stats
want for their life is happiness, and if I want for my life happiness also, and if we have a combined belief on the prescriptive things that would make us happy, then that's what men, including me, should move towards.
So you're saying I read these stats, I read these studies. Now do what I say because I read these studies.
Go on, and Pearl Davis is doing the same thing. I read these stats and studies, and everything's really bad for men. So, I mean, if you want to, if you want to take the plunge of 20%, you might get fucked here. And is it really worth it? I'm not sure it's worth it.
I say you're a man. It's your house. You get to do what you want in your house. That's out of order. I'm not going to tell a man what to do.
Well, you're not telling them what to do, but you can still. Isn't it true that you can offer up prescriptions in society which are good for society and good for men without telling men that they need to do those prescriptions? Like, hey, prescriptively, if we did X, that might be really good for men. That doesn't mean you're telling men what to do.
I can give my opinion if somebody asks, but that's not my job. I'm here to, did you lower the volume a little bit? I don't know why I like can hear him less now. No? Wait, could you talk again?
Testing.
Could you turn up my mic or like my headphones just like a little bit? Sorry. But then you would say, you wouldn't say you should do it. You would say you could. But once you get into then you're saying this is what you should do.
I would say any prescription,
that's
going to be good for the
better.
overall health of men, they should be moving towards that. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Right. And so if it was moving towards the overall health of men, it would be an easy sell and men would do it.
And that, well, no, not necessarily. Men have gone along with lots of different things, which were an easy sell because they were misled or they had bad information or collectively from the society. Like, here's an easy one. Men go off to war. They go off to literal war when they get drafted. And that has been an easy sell, but it definitely was not good for men.
What is this? I think it might be here. Sorry. It's like buzzing now a little bit. Okay, sorry. So you're saying that men, well, yeah, but men in reward for protecting the country, they got a family that actually stayed together. But today that's not the norm.
No, they didn't. In the Vietnam War, they didn't get that. That's not the case. They got that maybe post-World War II. They weren't getting it after Korea. They weren't getting it after Vietnam. They're drafted for both wars. They weren't coming home to a family. They're coming home getting spit on, literally spit on.
All right,
and the thing is like, yes, men can be tricked collectively into doing things that are really bad for men's health. But the idea here that we should not be prescriptively
do you think they
trying,
did it because it was like an adventure? That's probably why, right? Like,
no, they didn't just want to go on an adventure. They did it for honor.
Yeah. I mean, and
Honor.
I would say at one point society rewarded them for it. Like now white men are the least likely to be in the military, or it's like the lowest numbers in years. Like men are dropping out of the military because they don't see what's in it for them anymore. And you know, it's interesting. I think this like
yeah, well, that's because there's no honor.
I think it's an interesting like sell what you're trying to do. Meet the women, wait till marriage for a woman that's not, pay a higher price than a previous guy, and you'll be married for life. I hope, men, if you want to,
I mean, that's not. So this is again. This is very.
If you guys want to,
if
you guys want to do that,
Pearl framing.
If you want to do,
that's not actually what I said. I'm not. I'm offering only an alternative to black pill. And what am I saying?
Okay.
The same thing you are. Men should be gravitating towards things which are good and healthy for men. Men are gravitating towards families because they want them.
But
if they didn't want them, they wouldn't be having them.
Who has more information on what makes a man happy? You or him? Like an individual man watching your stream.
This will be trivially true about any human being on earth.
So each man has more information to make decisions in his life than you do, right?
Well, no, that's not always the case. But I would say, generally speaking, people tend to think or know what makes them happier than some guy they don't know. Sure.
Yeah. So I don't know if I want to use. Can I use you as an example but not say your name? Can I use you? Yeah, I can. Okay. So my producer's watching now, right?
Yeah.
He's listened to me talk. Now he's listening to you for the first time and he's hearing your strategies for marriage, right? Who has more information on how he should make a decision moving forward in his relationships, you or him?
Yeah. So obviously him, but I'll also have more information probably on what's better for his relationships than you because I'm a man.
Totally fine.
Yeah.
But so who should make the decision? Should he listen to your advice or should he listen to himself? What he thinks is best?
Well, so I would say that you also have to take into account that there's social responsibilities and honor that men have, duties that they're supposed to gravitate towards. There are actual duties men have to gravitate towards.
This is just like nagging the duty. Okay. Well, what does he get?
You don't think men don't have duties?
What does he? I mean, why would you do something?
Like men should just do nothing, or what?
Right, well, why should they work hard for a society that doesn't reward them? I have no problem.
I think that society should reward men for hard work.
But it doesn't.
Yeah, but it does. It does actually reward men for hard work. It doesn't always reward men for hard work with a family, though. That's not the reward societies have ever given men. Men
Really,
have to procure their own steak
men
for
have rewarded
families.
military members the last 50 years? They have?
Yes.
Sure. Then I'm
Society
sure.
has rewarded military members over the last 50 years. Yes.
Really?
There's more. During the Iraq War, for instance, there was a lot of honor that came back to the uniform. And then post that, now there's less.
More men have committed suicide than all of the last. More soldiers have committed suicide in the last 50 years than all of the world wars combined.
Yeah.
So society rewarded them?
No, that's not a social societal issue of society trying to punish them. Right. Iraqi war veterans were not getting spit on like Vietnam war veterans. Some of them maybe, but it wasn't the same type of contextual information.
I guess if society isn't
here's why this
on them.
happened. This happened because of the tour. So it used to be that soldiers were cycled out after one tour. What happened during the Iraq war and Afghanistan wars, they were going back for 4, 5, 6 tours. They were completely broken. This was something the military has recognized multiple times. Society itself, though, demanded that these wars be stopped. Ultimately, they demanded it. That's why they put Trump in. When you're talking about the social duties and responsibilities of men, it is a fact of the matter they do have them. The idea here, though,
do you think that
this means that society rewards men with a family?
The monologue, is it going to end? Is it going to end? Okay, you're doing that to me, so I gotta,
Yeah. Fair enough.
So, do you think that men have been respected the last 50 years and honored in society?
No, that's not. I didn't say that.
Okay.
We're talking about the military, a specific example.
Okay, but in general, do men get respect?
No, I think that men
society?
have been completely and totally disrespected as a bygone pieces of garbage.
Right.
The entire idea here is to try to change that.
Right. But
right?
you would understand the rationale for a guy that just says fuck it, right? Because society doesn't reward him.
So here we can maybe come to some agreement. Do I understand the rationale? Yes. Oh yes, I understand the rationale completely. Does that mean that that's good for men though? No.
Okay.
And clearly it does. It clearly can't be because you say it can't be by your own logic.
But you know what's best for an individual.
No. You actually just gave the prescription. It's pretty great. You just said, well, so society is shitting all over men.
Sorry about that, guys. It's open. Guys, any questions so far? Almost like 15 more minutes into this, and I am feeling doozy. Any questions now? Yeah. But right. See, you're right. So effort doesn't reward them either. Yeah. All right. Right. You have questions now or super chat? Let's go.
And that's really bad for men, right, Andrew? Yeah, I want to change that. And you go, but wait a second. So you think you know what's best for men? It's like, well, if we both agree that society shitting on men is bad, then it appears we both think we know what's best for men. That society shouldn't shit on them. They wouldn't like that, right?
Right, but I don't predict it'll stop. I wouldn't predict that it would change.
Well, I can predict it'll never stop if we don't try to do anything about it.
Well,
I can make a 100% prediction it'll never stop if we don't try to do anything about it.
Then run for office, right? Go ahead.
Well, you don't just need to run for office. What you need to do is influence people who are in office. That's the main thing. People forget. See, NGOs and it's the lobbyists who ultimately are.
That's the only way to change some things. You're going to have to pressure them people upstairs, and you got to pressure them hard, man, real hard. Let's go.
Way to be able to make these influences for change.
All right, in the next year, what changes can I expect policy-wise?
Probably not much.
Okay. So my producer has to make a decision in the next year. What's he going to do?
Yeah. So
he has to make. Should he look at the history? Yeah. Should he look at what might happen in the future?
Yeah. So if your producer is going to make a decision on marriage in the next year, I'd give him the same advice any rational human being would ever have. Great. You want to get married? Make sure all of your risks are as mitigated as you can possibly make them so that you can move towards family like men have always historically done and are now getting much better at. And then on top of that, Mr. Producer, you can expect within the next few years that you're going to start seeing even more changes in the marriage court. And here's my proof. The number of kids living with their fathers has quadrupled from 68 to 2020 due to men's rights advocacy groups. That seems to be good for men. They can get access to their kids. Quadrupled, Pearl.
What do you think's going to affect my producer or someone similar to him more? Do you think you saying like these stats, or do you think what he's seen in real life is going to affect his decision making and what he thinks more?
People generally, I think, intuitively go off of experience first. and then they mitigate, but they often mitigate experience when they start looking for answers for why things they've experienced have sucked. So like bad thing happens and I hate it. And so intuitively, I don't want anything to do with this again. But then you start looking for answers for why bad thing happened.
You listing stats and shaming men is not going
No, I'm
to
doing
make
it. You're shaming men.
I'm not is
That's a shaming tactic. I'm telling you.
And is not going to make men want to get married, and it's not going to make them not believe what they have seen.
How is it shaming men to tell men I care a lot about men's health more than anything else and would really like to see influencers start moving towards prescriptions so that they live happier lives? How in the fucking world could you ever say in a million years that that's a shaming tactic?
Okay, sure, you're not. Sure.
I mean, how? Like, how do you make that step? Now, I would say, on the other hand,
you're shaming men you shame men for sleeping around.
It's impossible, guys. You're way too fucking stupid to understand the system.
You shame men for not living the way that you want them to live.
No, I'm not shaming. I'm not telling men they have to live how I want to live.
You call them degenerates. You call them degenerates.
Well, yeah, if they're gays, they're degenerate, aren't they, Pearl?
Okay, well, no, you call them degenerates if they sleep around.
Yeah, if they're highly promiscuous, I consider that to be.
Remember, the whole premise of Andrew is to promote strong, functioning families and married people. Men get married to women, not out in these streets, just slinging their thing and shooting the club on every woman they see. That's his position, that's his platform, that's what he pushes. Besides debating these hoes, he's up here telling men, do better. You must go out there, find a wife, eventually settle down, stop going out here screwing all these chicks, these hoes, So I understand what he's doing. For your chat. Yeah, I will not be getting married again from experience. Oh, you were married before? Can't tell. How long you been married? I'm curious. Let me know. Let's go.
Degeneracy.
Okay,
but
so
I still,
about,
even for those degenerate men, want the best for health and resources for those men.
So
too.
what about men that just want to live with a woman for 10 years and have sex first? Are they
terrible idea? Horrible idea by every
Mm.
single metric.
But,
yeah, totally.
Okay, but,
totally degenerate. And it's a terrible idea.
Sure. But a better idea is to wait till marriage and give a woman the ultimate honor that you could ever give a woman. And she
in the comparison of those two situations,
she doesn't even have to have sex with you to get it.
They don't have to have sex with you if you live with them either. What's your point?
Well,
like they don't have to have sex in that situation either. And when you're looking at the fact that living with a woman long term without marrying her, you end up anyway with these ideas of like common law marriage. You can still get taken in the ringer on that. The other alternative there is that the children are generally going to have terrible outcomes. Between those two choices, absolutely, I would prescribe that marriage is better than those. Even bad marriage would be better than those.
Okay, yeah. So again, that's a tough sell. I mean, maybe the men in the audience will buy it, right?
No, I think that mine was the good sell. So I think the shaming tactic comes from the idea of you saying,
but you're the
this
one
is how
calling.
I hear it. What I hear is men are so fucking stupid they can't mitigate their own risk. So just check out, guys. You're too fucking dumb. And I think the opposite. I think men are super fucking smart, and we can definitely do something inside of the societal social field to change the conditionals for men.
Who has more legal power, men or women?
In which context? At the mercy of the system or at the mercy of changing the system?
All right. Who do politicians cater to, men or women?
They generally cater toward women and children's needs first. Yes.
Who does the legal system cater to, men or women?
Women.
Generally speaking, it's going to cater to the weaker sex and children. Yes.
Okay. Who does the media cater to? Men or women?
Yeah, same. I can just answer yes to all the institutions doing this.
Okay, so if an individual man is going to outsmart this billion-dollar system,
so they're too dumb to do it?
I would say they don't have power. I wouldn't say dumb, but I don't think
But don't men collectively have powers to overthrow entire systems via force doctrine?
Okay, but I mean, when you're talking in the abstract, that's like easy.
No,
right?
I'm talking in the instruct.
I want to go specific. So my producer, he's listening, right? So he's gonna make a decision in the next 5 years about what he wants to do with his life, right?
Yeah.
And so he's listening. Now, what power does he have if a woman throws an abuse claim at him? What can he really do?
Yeah, so he can do all the same thing that that men have always done during any sort of claim for abuse. He can mitigate risk. You can do this via security cameras. You can do this via the Pence rule. You can do this via all sorts of various rules that men have instituted to protect themselves from false allegations of abuse. If you're talking about inside of long-term relationships, that's really hard for women to prove. Really hard for women to prove. Even marital rape is hard for women to prove. Those are not the things which men are getting tossed into jail for. They're getting tossed into jail, getting their lives ruined for false allegations, generally from strangers, not from women they're with long term.
That's just simply not true, because
Really?
abuse allegations are brought up all the time in family court, because it's based on
That's
a
true.
preponderance. It's not. You don't need evidence, so they can just say things. I mean, I worked on one case where she threw a rape allegation from the first night they met, and then 10 years later, she said that he raped her. Court
It
took
is the
it.
case that
she won custody.
Listen,
So
it is the case inside a family court that women will make up all sorts of shit for the custody of children. Nobody's disputing that. What I'm talking about specifically is the charges of abuse, which generally happen. So in family court, what happens is most women are filing for divorce, not under an abuse claim, but under irreconcilable differences. And the amount of them who are reporting abuse in the relationships actually is not nearly as high as you're presenting. The amount of men who are high status who get their lives completely fucking destroyed by false allegations from strange women is extremely high, though, usually in the workplace, if they're in any way connected in the workplace. Or if it is the case that they're a high status man who goes on a date with a woman, that's when you start to see those accusations completely level men. I'm not saying that doesn't happen in the family court.
It does happen. It does happen in family court, correct?
Yeah.
So women can throw and what can he do if he gets a very feminist judge?
Yeah, he's going to get fucked. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so do you think he makes him stupid if he gets fucked? Like he's automatically stupid?
I think that but what's the prescription? The prescription would be to begin the process of changing family courts so that you don't have the feminist judges that still operate under the old rules of immediately goes to
tick. My producer, he's got to make a decision this year. He's got to. What's he going to do? He's going to do now. Should he bet that Andrew Wilson's going to fix the laws for him?
Should he stay alone for the rest of his life? Because if he ever gets married, the woman's for sure going to give him an abuse claim and throw him in prison?
I didn't say that.
Is that going to be good for his happiness?
I didn't say that.
I mean, that sounds like a terrible prescription. Yeah, if you listen to me.
I didn't say that. But the way.
So let's compare it. Let's compare it.
The thing
Andrew
is,
Wilson, mitigate all risk possible.
Okay, so
and then Pearl Davis, good luck, you're fucked.
Yeah,
I mean,
so,
that's the distinction.
But you
right?
see what you're doing is you're making it seem like men have two options, which is sleep around or be married, right? That's kind of I don't know if that's what you mean, but that's what you're making it seem like.
No,
but there's a lot of people that are in like 2-year relationships with a woman.
Sure.
There's a lot of people that date casually, right? They just go on dates. They might sleep with one or two, maybe more than that, women. And
well,
then
that sounds like casual sex to me.
Right.
It is casual sex, We just have fun, We just kicking it, Let her get on her knees, Give me some top, I blow her back out, Shoot the club, Nothing wrong. We're grown adults. We just having fun. Just having fun. Yeah, I feel you, Endode. All right, let's go.
But then they pick their favorite and they get into a relationship and then eventually get married. I mean, I'm sure, and I'm not trying to go personal, but I'm sure most people dated before like they met their previous like partners, their wife, right?
Sure.
So
yeah.
And so it's not really one or the other, right? It's not like degenerates and not. So when does someone become a degenerate? Like when does that line, like when are they beyond the point of return?
Yeah. That's a very much a personal question. When someone does or stop being a degenerate, I'll give you my answer. You don't. When you live that, free lifestyle of just having pure intercourse, some nice, good old loving, getting random women just to sit there, suck you, and you just blow their back out. It is the most excruciating thing in the world. It's the most invigorating, beautiful thing in the world. And trust me, some men got like that, and they could be out here, slinging their thing at known women that are cute, good bodies, hoping they're not too fat. That's another story. And they're having the time of their life. So in my opinion, there's not one time when they're ever going to be or stop being degenerates. And I think degenerate is like what's the word? That word itself, I think, is a shaming tactic for men that really exercise their options to really just, shoot up the club and any woman that they see fit. I mean, you give or take. I mean, my views of degeneracy, I look at it different from what Andrew look at it. So, but let's hear his response. Cause y'all don't want it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Body
so when you
count,
hit this idea of like
is it
the
like
fallacious
any
the
sex
fallacious
outside of
thresh,
marriage?
yeah,
what's
yeah.
that?
When you hit a fallacious threshold fallacy, like when does a thing become the thing, right? We know that there's degenerates. Can I give you the exact number of dicks a guy has to suck before he's well? That would be just one, I guess. Do I have to give you the exact number of chicks a dude fucks before he's considered societally a degenerate? I don't think I need to. I think that's pretty intuitive. We know what
I don't think
degeneracy
so.
looks like. You don't think so?
I mean, I know.
Okay, so
I
a
don't wanna
guy.
say,
Okay, so here,
Okay.
I'll just pose it to you if you don't think so.
I mean, there's a lot of guys.
A guy
that,
is in a
okay.
gangbang. He's in a gangbang, right? With it's him and 3 of his friends, and they're all fucking one chick. Is he a degenerate?
I mean, what is he? Is he doing those every week the rest of his
No,
life?
he just
I personally
he just decided to go in and do it, right?
Come on, baby. You know the answer to the question. Either yes or no. It's not something how often he's getting his rocks on. Is he or is he not? It's that simple. Yes or no. I don't know what this is. It make life so difficult. God damn it.
Personally, I don't tell men what to do in the bedroom. I think I prefer the don't ask, don't tell. Like, I just don't. You can do what you want.
Yeah, well, I mean, I prefer not to have STDs floating out in society because people are getting in gangbangs in their
Right,
privacy
but-
of their home, and the
right.
libertarian idea of like we're not going
But
to
that
govern
doesn't.
it.
But
is
that
bullshit.
doesn't affect you. How does that?
Yeah, it
affect
affects
you?
me.
How does that affect
I
you?
live in this society. How does
right,
it not
but
affect me?
you don't have an STD, right?
I have children. I
Right.
have cousins.
Correct.
I have
There we
I
go.
have
There we
family.
go.
I have all sorts
And that's
of people.
actually what I was trying to get at is conservatives want men to save society for their children. And that's the point. You don't ask what's in it for them.
Wait a second.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
and that's the point.
Don't you want us to save society for men?
I think people need to make decisions based on the information they have about their own life.
Yeah. So
I
what
am
think
not.
is,
I'm going to finish and then you can go.
Go ahead.
I am realistic, and I think it's better to be prepared than be blindly optimistic. So, things I would personally prepare for, your kids are probably gonna like. Your kids will probably go to school with women that do OnlyFans. That is probably
Sure.
going to happen.
Yep.
And it's
I agree.
better to prepare and have a plan than it is
to try to stop it.
I don't think it's effective to stop it.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
think it's
well, I think it
effective.
is effective to stop. Not only that, again, the framing is incorrect.
Nala?
It's not
'Cause
that
of Nala?
conservatives are trying to.
Sorry.
Dave,
Because of Nala?
Conservatives are not trying to save. I mean, maybe the TPUSA conservatives are trying to save a society for the sake of their children. But even if that was the case, like, good, that's good. But that aside, no. What I'm trying to do is save men in society. Men. I think men, the patriarchy, is the most necessary component to society's functioning. And so if you want to have men who are in a patriarchal role, who are governing society, then you're going to have to prescriptively move men towards that. That's the only
Right.
way to do it.
Can a man-
So ultimately,
can a-
it's like, hang on.
Okay,
hang
go
on.
ahead, go
My
ahead.
turn now. So ultimately, from your like social bastardization of this whole thing, your framing continuously goes back to, well, conservative men want to save society for their children. Yeah.
Right.
And like
Right.
good.
But what
Good?
does the average man get out of that? And that's the point.
They get a society to live in.
Right. So I just want to know
Do
when
you
these
think that
changes are going to
men
happen.
do you think men live in like bubbles in a forest, or do you think that they live in societies which are governed by social relationships?
Okay, so when are these changes going to happen? Like when?
Yeah,
can
but
my
answer my question
producer-
first. Do you think that men
I
live
don't
in
think-
isolated bubbles, or they live in a social dynamic society filled with interpersonal
Well, the
relationships?
average,
they deal with?
average man doesn't have many friends. He's like 3 or less, I think.
Yeah, but they have
So-
friends and they have family members, and they still have to engage in society. You have to go buy a fucking cheeseburger, right? They got to go buy a cheeseburger and not get pickles on it because
right,
the
but
fucker doesn't speak
every
English.
stat shows that men are actually checking out of society. So
Yeah, that's bad though,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's not.
It's bad for reasons because there's nothing in society that men have to really work to maintain. I mean, why work years on years for 20, 30, hell, even 40 years of your life and come not only to a disagreeable chick, but also get your resource snubbed? That's not a good deal, and most men are not going to take it. Let's go.
Good. Like we want to change that, right?
Right,
That's
but
the whole point.
I would say it's pragmatic because they're
Yeah,
realizing there's
pragmatism's
no.
bad.
Okay, well, I hope isn't a strategy, and what I think you're kind of trying to do is sell hope.
No,
and I think
no,
it's
the
better to.
pragmatic
I think
argument
it's
that you're
so.
making right now is like, guess what? No
Mm-hmm.
men would ever be in pain ever again if they all shot themselves in the head, either, would they, Pearl?
I don't
That would
really
be the
think, I don't-
ultimate
I
form
don't-
of pragmatism.
I don't really think that's the same, but hey, you know.
That no,
I
that's just
don't- I
pragmatism
don't-
taken
so,
to its
okay.
logical conclusion.
So
if you
I
want to
said-
stop all
I
suffering
said-
of men,
Okay.
they all go bye-bye. They're all
Okay.
dead. Now there's no more suffering
So
of men. That's
I
just
said
silly,
I
right?
said men look at the facts and make a decision. And you can make a decision for yourself. I'm here to report the facts, and that's the same as shoot yourself. Okay. I mean,
No, that's not. No. You're making
Totally
a
fine.
conflation.
I mean, hey.
You're all you just
wait
did
for
was
the
make a
born again
conflation.
virgin, guys. That's
You
totally
said
that's
prag-
totally
you
going to
s-
get you. That's,
Nobody
that's
made
the
that
best way
prescription.
for. That's what you said
You're just
earlier.
lying now. It's just reframing.
That is what
reframing and
okay.
total bullshit. Never
Okay,
said, guys,
okay.
wait for the born again virgin. In
Okay.
fact, I'm the one wrecking those fucking broads. What are you
Okay,
talking about?
okay.
The thing, I've never made
Didn't-
any such prescription. It's always reframing.
Can I edit it here?
Because the
where
thing
you
is,
can
is
I
like
edit it where I
ultimately-
asked you? Or I'm going to edit it earlier because you did say that the way you would suggest men dated was to wait till marriage, even if the woman wasn't a virgin. You did say that.
Yeah, has nothing to do with born again virgins. It's just that's
Okay.
your pragmatism of
Okay.
a social mitigation for bad thing happening. That's it. It's all a matter of mitigation of risk. The idea that I said that you need to wait for a born again virgin, fucking absurd. Never said it. The reason you have to reframe this is because
How should I?
I'm
How should I?
advocating
What should
for
I call
men's-
them? Okay.
I'm advocating. Hang on.
all right.
I'm advocating
Wait for a woman that
men's-
gave it to other
I'm
men
advocating
for free.
for men's happiness, men's rights,
Okay.
men's health. And the only thing you can think of to do is to consistently attempt to reframe it into somehow I'm telling men to take some plunge with some fucking skank born again virgin. Fuck that. I'm talking about the mass mitigation of
Okay.
risk and the change to a
All right.
system.
All right, guys. I know she slept with your ex-boyfriend. Okay. Or I know she slept with her ex-boyfriend.
Here comes the straw man
I
that
know.
I would never
I know
prescribe
she.
ever.
Okay. Should men wait till marriage? You said yes, right?
Yeah. Yeah, generally
Okay.
yes.
Even if
They
the
have best
woman,
outcomes,
even if the
yes.
woman isn't a virgin.
If it is the case that you want men to do whatever they want,
Okay.
then if man really
Guys, don't
likes
do-
the woman,
Don't
if
do
the man
whatever you want. Do
really
it. Do
likes
it,
him-
Andrew. Do what Andrew says. Do
Yeah,
it.
so
No.
if it is the case,
My
that the
producer,
man
he's taking notes now.
really
He's gonna
likes-
follow your plan.
Yeah. So if the man really likes the woman,
Okay.
and men should do whatever it is that they want, right? Then under your feasible system, a man should just fuck a chick because he feels like it, right? It's like that's untenable. One and two. Yes, is it okay for a man to hold his own integrity intact and still be in love with a woman who
Right.
slept with a man before
Right.
and have good outcomes? Yes,
Yeah.
of course it is.
So now you're
course it is.
shaming men for wanting to sleep with women outside of marriage. And that's what I said. You're the one shaming men because you're the one saying that they're degenerates if they,
No,
even
I'm
though,
talking
even
about
though
outcomes.
statistically, even though
Yeah, and that's where a lot of men will disagree with Andrew. And I think because he got exposed more and more, that was really not really new information from what I'm noticing. But if you tune in the next broadcast or so, there was something that I will play a person that was exposing about this information. But you had to tune in. You had to tune into this channel. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Overall, you know, Andrew is kind heart and he's commendable. I understand the gentleman. He wants to see a society where things are moving, functioning, and men move with purpose and still have the possibility of having an actual family that will stay intact with the assistance of the system. But in a real perfect world, that's not happening right now. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. And I just looked up this thing about the mandatory DNA testing for those that don't know, and I saw some float on Facebook especially about it, so I did a little fact check, and there's no confirmation that is actually factual that Donald Trump signed anything in law or mandatory DNA. All right, let me see. All right. Matter of fact, I might put a PDF of this, but let's keep going. I want to wrap this up.
Outcomes for men who maintain virginity and marry women with low body counts or virgins have really good outcomes.
I am super. You know what? You'd have to show me the study.
I named it for you earlier.
I am super sure that when the woman is not a virgin and the man is, that is a recipe for disaster. I am.
Listen, you're right that the risk
I know
increases,
I'm right. I know I'm right.
But it's still mitigated. It's still but it's still mitigated
right.
by the fact that if they have a lower body count, right, within the threshold of 1 to 3, right, it does mitigate risk significantly. Is it always best to have a virgin? Sure, but guess what? Unfortunately, in the world that we live in, that's probably not what you're going to get. You're probably not going to get a virgin who's a man either, but you can still mitigate all kinds of risk.
What does he get?
Why do you think
what
you can't mitigate risk?
What does he get? What does he get? He gets.
So one more time, I'll explain what men get out of this. Even though you keep asking the question, I answer it. They get what they've always
you have such
gotten.
bad answers. Like,
okay.
You're like, here's a bad deal, guys. Yeah. You got a bad deal before.
Yeah,
here's another
you're giving them a bad deal. Not only that, here, let me ask you this. What have men ever gotten?
Men, you've always gotten
one thing men have ever gotten.
You've always gotten it bad, so you should continue to accept
the question,
it bad.
Pearl. Don't dodge, Pearl. What have men ever gotten?
Men, translation, men.
You're not answering. No, notice audience, she's not answering.
Notice audience, he won't. Notice he's not answering either.
I did answer. I answered 15 times. Now here's my question to you. After I gave you the answer,
okay.
What have men ever gotten?
Okay, 100 years ago, average 6 to 8 children. I believe this is off the top of my head.
So you only care about caring about children, not about men.
Wait, I'm not done.
That's caring about children, not about men. Pearl.
He got I'll finish.
Okay,
he got a virgin wife who had been with nobody else, who stayed with him for a lifetime.
Wait, I thought that women's behavior was ingrained and that they were always fucking men, according to you, and that the men just didn't know it.
They might have been. They might have been,
well,
but at least
sounds like
if women did at the time, it was not as widely known as it is today. If women did, they may not have. I wasn't there. I'm not going to speak. I know,
but that's what you said last time. You said no, they were still screwing around even then. Well, it's just behind the backs, and nobody knew.
Well, I mean, there's genealogy records that show that women did step out. Like, there's people that have done like genealogy records, and like a lot of times it was the neighbor or something like that. I'm not going to go back and forth about 100 years ago because
what did men ever get, Pearl? What did they ever get?
But that doesn't matter. And that's the whole point.
Right.
You keep going back to 100 years ago. I live in the now. I don't care what happened 100 years ago.
Asked me this question.
I don't care. I know, but you keep deflecting. You keep deflecting and bringing up the past. You're like a woman bringing up the past.
I'm just making you answer the same question that I'm answering.
Who cares about 100 years ago?
Andrew, you're not giving me any answers. Here's my answer. Give me one, Pearl.
Okay.
What did they get? What did they ever get?
Right, I don't care about 100 years ago.
That's right.
I care about nothing.
You got nothing.
I care because you're talking about the past. What do they get today, Andrew? What do they get?
They get the same thing they've always gotten, which is a family, the thing that seems to make men the most happy. Right. Unless you can name something else that men were getting before that, and I'm all ears.
Do women stay today? Do women stay today? On average, do women stay today?
At lesser rates than they used to.
Okay.
By for sure they do.
Okay.
But if you're asking what men get, that's a different question.
But they don't get it. They don't get it.
Yeah, but a lot of men do get it. That's a lie. They do get it.
No, they don't.
A lot of men do. I just gave you the stats. And by the way, if you're talking about, again, even when it comes to guardianship, it's quadrupled. If you're talking about marriage in a Christian sense, 25% divorce, low body counts, even less.
Are more people getting married today or less?
Less. Okay. I'm glad. Less secularists are getting married. Good. Fuck them.
Okay.
Damn, Andrew's cold.
Fuck them. I don't care if they get married or not.
Right,
bastards.
but this isn't a religious channel, right? You're trying to
I'm not saying it's a religious channel.
You're trying to peddle your religion, right? And that's kind of
I'm trying to peddle outcomes. Why do I
Right.
care if secularist men who are hedonistic want to get married or not? It's irrelevant. The
Right.
future belongs to those who reproduce,
Right.
and it's not going to be those who don't get married because they go, well, the thing is that I don't feel like
What?
I'm getting anything that men haven't always gotten for this. And the one thing you could name, same thing I could name, they get children. When I said it, you said, well, Andrew, that's you promoting
who do the kids
promoting
belong
good for
to?
kids.
Who do the kids belong
Stop,
to?
Pearl, my turn.
Who do the kids belong
What you do,
to?
yeah,
Who
my
do the
turn. But
kids
anyway,
belong? You don't like
so
the
it's
answer.
my turn.
Who
It's
do the
my
kids?
turn.
Who do the
Yeah,
kids
you won't even let
belong
me
to?
answer. So
who do
so
the
here's-
kids belong to? It's
you're
a
just
one-word
reframing.
answer.
Stop
It's a
reframing. Let me
one-word
finish.
answer.
Let me finish the point.
It's
Let
a
me finish the
one-word
point.
answer. Who do the
Waiting
kids
for-
belong to?
I wasn't
Who do
done
the kids?
talking
Who do the?
before
I
you
don't.
interjected with your
who
dumb
do the kids?
opinion.
Who do the kids belong to?
Yeah, Pearl, one more time.
Can you
So I'm
answer?
gonna-
Can you do
Yeah,
it? Can you do it?
Yeah.
Okay,
It goes
go
to
ahead.
the state. Right now, the children belong to the state. Yeah, that's terrible. That sucks. But what
Okay,
it meant,
so what
by
did
the way,
men get out
the
of it?
children belong to the state
This is
before
like
they
a
belong to the
spurg.
king.
It's like
They
a
belong to
spurg.
the king.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you say it's
What
a spurg
do-
because you cut me off every 5 seconds.
What? Yeah, because you don't have a good answer. They don't get
Yeah,
anything out of
I
it.
gave you the same answer you gave me,
Right.
which is hilarious.
Right.
By
but,
the way,
but
same answer.
They don't get a family because women divorce.
Pearl, can you answer my question? Don't spurg.
What's your question?
Okay.
Can
what
you not
have men
bring up-
ever
can
got?
you not
Men-
bring up
Pearl,
history?
can you answer my question? Don't spurg, Pearl. Stop spurging. Okay, stop spurging. I'm just going to answer the question. Let me ask it before you start spurging. What have men ever gotten, Pearl?
I don't care.
Ever.
I don't care
Yeah.
about history.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
He has to.
Okay.
Men today have to make decisions off of the information today, Andrew. It doesn't matter what they got. It's like, what do they get today?
Yeah, they get what they've always gotten.
Okay. Well, if you want to keep convincing men to wait for born again virgins, it's totally fine. I hope.
Except I
I'm
never.
sure-
Can you?
Yeah, I remember Andrew always advocating to men they should wait for women that have not been touched sexually. I just don't see that in this channel. Has anybody watched Andrew's content and he ever admit this, saying that you just wait for born again virgin and then you be all set? I don't recall any man of any platform will recommend that or say that, because there is no virgins, especially in America. I mean, a lot of people, we can question that, but way how society is going and how they push promiscuity and sexual degeneracy at an all-time high, you'd be far-fetched to throw a rock in a puddle and you won't hear a scream, it's a virgin. Personally, I know. I'm gonna wrap this up. Let's go.
You ever tell me where I told any man ever to wait for a born again virgin?
Okay.
Why do you keep making that shit up? Like, why?
What do you want to? What do you want to? Okay,
man.
you want men to wait for non-virgin women, correct?
No, I never
That's-
said that either. I'm
you
talking
said
about
that
the
twice.
mitigation
You
of
said that
risk.
twice. You said that twice.
Yeah, and here's the thing: you can clip it, right? But I'll counter clip. You won't like what you see because I didn't say that. I'm talking about the mitigation of risk. And when you're talking about the mitigation of risk, it still is actually less risky. Yes.
Right.
Less
So
risky.
I wanna
Does
go
that
back
mean it's
to the-
optimal? No.
so you want
Do
men
you
to
understand?
find-
Hang on.
okay,
You
you
understand
wanna
the difference
find-
between
okay.
optimal and risk? Do
So
you
you
understand like
wanna-
risk mitigation versus optimal?
So you want men to find women with below what, a 3 body count? Is that what you're suggesting?
No, just less bodies better.
Okay. So what would you say should be the cap?
I mean, yeah, again, we're talking about risk mitigation.
Okay, sure.
I'll give you an answer. It has to be under 4, roughly 3, and that's just being conservative. And I wrote some about this, so I go more details. Let's go.
You're asking for something which is a specificity, right?
Okay.
So, how many, for instance, if I ask this question to you, how many women, or should you ever sleep with a woman who's fucked 100 men? Should a man ever do that?
Could you answer the question?
Yeah, but it's actually answering by showing you how fallacious the actual question is.
Okay.
So what you're saying is, Andrew, give me a threshold. I'm not here to give you the threshold. I'm here to tell you about the mitigation of risk. The less bodies, the better. Yes.
How would a
Does that
man-
mean?
I gave the threshold. I said under 4, roughly 3 at best, and that's just being conservative. I give the answer. I answer the question. Hope you like it.
Though that if you have a high body count woman, it can't work out. No,
Okay.
but the risk is way higher.
How would men verify that?
Here's the thing. You asked me this last time. It was kind of funny, right? So they would verify it the same way they've always verified it. They would look at reputation. They would look at past history. They would talk with friends. And you know what's really interesting? I went back and I took a look at this. And it turns out that when men investigate these things and poignantly ask these questions, they actually do get a lot of these answers very quickly. You can actually verify this based on reputation.
Okay. So if a woman had a past in a different city, how would the man know? Or she does
especially
something.
with
She does
so it'd be
something
social,
on. She does
social
some,
media, families, big mouth sisters, big mouth friends, all the other ways that you would always
But
verify
if she
these things.
downloads a dating app, how would the guy know? She
Yeah, I
hooks
know,
up with a
but
guy
you
off a
can
dating app.
endlessly reduce
Right.
this hypothetical to the point where you can just continuously add variables. Like, what if a woman was in a forest and her plane went down? She was on a desert island for 3 days, and the news never broadcast it. Could she have slept with a man then? Yeah. But I'm saying that, again, when it comes to risk and mitigation, you can do investigation the same way women do with men, by the way, to find out their body count. And you can, in fact, suss out fairly quickly if they have a high one or not. Does that mean always?
Right.
No.
So you
But
think
it's all
most
about risk
men? You think
mitigation.
most men can figure it out pretty easy? How many people she slept with?
Not how many precisely, but whether or not she slept with more than he's comfortable with, or has a reputation of lying about sleeping around, which would be red flags, right?
Okay, so you think that's pretty easy. So how would you can just ask around and then men will tell him.
No, well, here's the thing about women that's great, right? They never shut the fuck up. So the greatest thing about them is they like to narrate their lives, and they like to do that especially with their friends.
Right.
And women also like their friends like to cause trouble. If you start poking around inside of a woman's female circle, they start blabbing about all kinds of shit about exes, where they've been, where they haven't been. They do this constantly.
Okay, so I want to get back to the because we never finished the step by step, so I'd really like to finish that. So you want men to wait for the non-virgin women, correct?
No, I don't. No,
So you want them to
it's
sleep
not
together?
not my
a
position.
month
What's
in?
tell me what my position is.
You said that you wanted men to wait till marriage.
I
even
said that
if the
would be
woman-
more optimal
Okay.
for men's health to do X thing
Okay.
is not a prescription that they should do X thing. So
Okay.
just because it mitigates risk for you as a man to, if you fall in love with a woman, right, for her to have a low body count, that still mitigates your risk. It's not me prescribing that you go find a woman who's not a virgin and marry her. That's absurd. We're talking about the outcomes here, the
Okay.
pragmatic approach.
Okay,
Yeah.
but practically, what percent of women do you think are marriageable? What percent?
That's hard to say. I don't know. I
Really?
mean, as a practice,
This whole debate, and you didn't even think about this question at all?
No, I thought about the question,
Okay.
but it's a very difficult question to notate how many exactly. Like, how many women have red hair? I don't know. How many women, have red eye? I don't know the actual answer.
You've
to this.
interviewed so
but
many.
I still think that somewhere around at least 20-25%
Okay.
of eligible marriageable women within the element of marriageable men is a good distinct possibility they work out, because that's what the stats show me, that almost 60% of these marriages actually do work out long term.
Oh, from working that you said that you're 99% sure. I was wondering, when people watch this, do they notice the people that's on the panel? Can they recognize them by the face or by just the hair? I'm kind of curious. You can answer in the chat room. Let's go.
If they're under the right conditionals.
Well, if they're religious, right?
No, that significantly increases it from 60%.
Okay. So you want men to find these 20. So the majority of women are not going to work, right? So you're saying to men, you might find out of 1 out of 4 women, you might get a wife.
No.
And
I was
so-
talking about the totality of the population.
Okay, fine.
But if
So-
you insert risk
All right.
mitigation for marriageable women, right, then your
think it's
odds
1 out of
actually
4.
drastically
Sure,
increase.
1
Yeah.
You think 1 out of 4 women have a body count under 10,
No, I didn't say that either.
but you said marriageable.
But I mean,
so
I
you
think
men should
probably-
accept. Do you think men should accept
Yeah.
more than 10?
Well, here, let's just.
Do you
pull
think
up
men
the
should
stats
accept
and
more
see.
than 5? Well,
How many women have
well,
less than a 3 body
yeah,
count?
but I don't trust stats that women report their
Oh,
body
okay.
count.
So now, whatever the data says, it's wrong too.
I mean, if women say it, yeah. Come on. If it's asking women about body count, come on, Andrew. You got to be realistic here.
Yeah, it looks like it's somewhere, the average of it is about 50% of women by the time they're marriageable age have less than a 5 body count. Yes.
Yeah,
That's what I'm looking at.
You have been out of the dating market too long, Andrew.
This is the stats I'm looking at.
All right, guys.
Yeah. And now we're looking at marriageable age, which is going to be between the age of 19 and 29, right? So we're looking at marriageable age for children. Now, is that the case? I don't know if that's the case. But ultimately, who cares anyway? The truth of the matter is that even if it's damaged,
Ooh, who cares about body
count? That's not what I said.
Men
who cares
should just
anyway about the
accept that?
topic at at the topic at hand? The case of the matter is that even if none of them right now were marriageable and they were all fucking skanks and they all had dozens of bodies, we would still be trying to move society towards a reform of such a system and not try to black pill and nihilism all. That would be stupid. Ultimately, when we look at men's happiness, they want to get married. Right?
Okay, fine. I want to get back to the step by step. You're happily married. Let's get to the step by step.
Now, when I get back step by step, I would think so. Their clips are pretty popular. Okay, all right, that's it. Not going further. That. I hope you guys got some out of this. To wrap up, in conclusion to all this, in this debate, Pearl did hold the upper hand in regards to conversation what men get out of marriage, why marriage is dropping, and she did pressure Andrew to really ask the hard questions. That's why I would say she got a leg up in regards to this debate. The one thing I do not like about Pearl is she doesn't answer questions. She need to get out of that. If you're engaged in any debate with any person, man or woman, you have to answer the question. You can't sit there to say what if it's not my responsibility. I don't care. That's not good. That is not hold as a strong candidate for debates in the near future. Matter of fact, people look at you as a person that could possibly flip-flop in your words and what you really believe in personally. So that's some things Pearl could do better. Other than that, I hope you guys got some out of this. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Be on the lookout for the next live stream. I'm going to probably talk about whatever is in the title. But you'll know when I go live by hitting the subscribe button and hitting the notification bell for uploads and live streams here on the Chaos Range Show. Also in the description, you can find my social media link below. Thank y'all for watching. Until next time, I mean, truly next time, really next time. The Chaos Range.
Man, fuck all you hoes. Fuck you and your mammy and your granny too. Man, fuck all you hoes. I'm sick of this shit. Fuck all you hoes. Man, fuck all you. Don't give a damn, bitch, what you wanna do. Man, fuck all you hoes.
They like the chaos.
They like the chaos. And when you're able to
The chaos.
let that chaos reign with,
The chaos.
let that chaos reign with,
The chaos.
let that chaos reign with,
Must reign.